Play something. Somebody play something.
Aw, shit, It's a good show. It's a great show. It's a shit show. Pick a Rick show. Not a Jerry show. Scary Terry show. Lick my balls show. Szechuan sauce show. It's the fucking Rick and Morty Fan show, bitch.
Hello, guys. What's going on? It's episode number 3 of the Rick and Morty Fan show. Now, you'll notice, first of all, that I have someone else with me. So, this is my co-host. He also co-hosts FNN, which is Fandom News Now. Zach the Voice. How did you get Zach the Voice? Did you do that? Or does everyone call you the Voice?
Yeah, well, it started because of my podcasting voice that I did with the Intergalactic Peace Coalition. And I wanted to find a nickname that could be universal instead of Zach DFW, which is what I had been doing because I live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Okay.
But I figured if I got a job somewhere, I would need the name to translate to whatever place I got the job for. So my specialty was kind of voice work, like broadcasting and podcasting. And so Zach the Voice just kind of evolved from that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I want a cool nickname like that. Everyone gives me shitty nicknames. So today we're going to talk about Anatomy Park, and I brought my friend Zach along because this is one of his favorite episodes. And we're also going to talk a little bit about Dana Carvey and John Oliver, who both make an appearance in this episode. It's actually, for the third episode, it's fantastic that they were able to get 2 amazing, guest spots in there. It's crazy. We're also going to announce the winner of the Create an Attraction. We're all going to be creating, if you want, in the chat, if you still want to get in on that, you can still create an attraction. So we're all basically creating something for Anatomy Park. Mine, I said, was Brain Matter Ball Pit. So I imagined like a ball pit where you drop your children off, playing around with my memories because my memory is so fuzzy. So that was my attraction for Anatomy Park. I got a couple here from some of our fans. Whoever wins is going to get put in a draw. Once we get 1,000 fans in our Facebook group, I'm going to draw from the names, and they're going to win some Rick and Morty swag. I got some extra pop figures. I have, I believe, an extra bird person action figure. I got a couple extra things. I got things that I bought and got gifted at the same time. I just have doubles of stuff. So I'll be giving up some of that swag. Maybe even I'll get some t-shirts. Who knows? But you have to get in on the draw first. So you have to create an attraction. You can do that in the chat if you like. Being that it's just the third show, it might be some people's first time on the show. This show, the most important thing, the battery, the flux capacitor, the most important part, the most important component of this show is the chat. It really is. It's a chat-driven show. I want you guys to comment things that you like, things that you don't like. When I say, that part's hilarious, you can be like, that's fucking stupid. When I say, like, that joke didn't really land, you can say, that guy, well, you're a moron because it was fucking hilarious. Whatever you want. And if you really want to make sure your point gets across, you can send a super chat in. It's the little money symbol there. So need some of that money. Although I don't, whatever. You can chat too. Doesn't matter. So let's get right into this. Now, before we get into this episode, this was the episode that really brought it in for me. I think I explained this before, but I watched the first 2 episodes because my brothers forced me. I forced them to watch dumb shit. They forced me to watch shit that usually ends up being good. This episode was the one where I was like, oh man, I love this show. I want to continue watching this show for sure. Like, it's gold. And I want to know, Zach, how did you get into Rick and Morty?
That's a really good question. And I've been trying to think about exactly how it happened. I think a buddy of mine at the time had started watching it and just knew some of Harmon and Roiland's work before they did Rick and Morty, and tried to get me to watch it. I think he was the same guy that introduced me to Bob's Burgers and was like, if you like Bob's Burgers, you might like Rick and Morty too. So I gave it a shot. I think they'd already done the whole first season, and I binged like the whole first season in like less than a week. And I know that that's not very impressive considering the size of the season, but I was a full-time college student at the time, and so finding the time to watch stuff was kind of at a premium at the time. And so I kind of binged through it while I was in college, and I've just kind of kept up with it ever since. But to answer DNT Infinity's question, says, I wouldn't say that this is one of my favorite Rick and Morty episodes, but I would certainly like to hear him elaborate on why he personally has such strong feelings towards this episode. The answer's pretty straightforward, Infinity. It's because I'm a huge Jurassic Park fan. I love dinosaurs. I love Jurassic Park. And to put the clever spin on it the way Rick did was one of the things that really drew me in. Like, the first couple episodes were pretty good, but the Jurassic Park draw, combined with how like the small intestine is basically, it's a small world after all from Disneyland, like all of that just kind of combined to make like one epic fangasm, because you've got stuff from Back to the Future, you've got stuff from Disney, you've got stuff from Jurassic Park, and you throw it all in there and mix in like some John Oliver voice acting and some other things, and it just made for one of those things that just hit all the right notes for me. And
yeah.
So it was.
I agree.
It was just really funny to watch, and became the thing that I was like just really enjoyed the most out of the series. And really, it was kind of in the top spot for me until my friend introduced me to Interdimensional Cable. So like, to me, it's right up there in the top 3 episodes with stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Interdimensional Cable is like super revered among Rick and Morty fans. So when you say like it's on sort of the level with that, that's a big deal for most people. I know that I really love this episode because I like both stories, but it's hard for me to compare Rick and Morty ever. So I like when people are able to tell me like, hey, this is my favorite episode, because my favorite episode changes every week, and you know, I like them all, so I'm not really good at being objective. Whereas like I will talk to other people and they'll be like, oh man, I really love this episode, but I really didn't like that episode, and I'll be like, oh, I fucking loved it. Like I always fucking loved it. It's all of it. So yeah, that's really good points, and I think I'm going to make sure to ask everybody who comes on the show what they specifically like about Rick and Morty, so I can get more points of view.
Right.
Let's break down parts of the episode. Now, when I broke down the episode, I broke down each scene, and I just kind of like went through funny things in every scene. It ended up lasting a long time, and this show is really supposed to only be about 40 minutes, half an hour, 40 minutes. It is a precursor to some of our other shows, so we need to do it a little quicker. And I'm just going to review some things from the show, and we'll get your opinions on them if you like the gags. The first, it begins with Jerry having this perfect Christmas that he's trying to have this ideal family Christmas. He's almost a Clark Griswold in that sort of way. And he's singing a Christmas song with the wrong words, obviously. It comes in and, basically everyone's like hanging out on their phones and shit and like on their iPads, and Jerry's getting pissed that nobody's, in the Christmas spirit, which is funny because it's such a relatable thing. And there's 2 lines that are kind of funny. He asks Morty while he's on his iPad, like, you're supposed to be getting the Christmas spirit. And Morty says like, I thought that Christmas is about being half God or something. And he's kind of like going away at his iPad while it's happening. He's not really paying attention. And then he steals everyone's devices. And then after that, he's going to take Summers. She's like, you're not taking my phone. And he's like, I find this part is funny because it really dates the first season of Rick and Morty. Jerry says like, give me that or I'm joining Facebook. Now, like, it's funny now because Facebook is now where all the old people are. Like, the young people aren't on Facebook anymore. You have to go to like Instagram, TikTok. So it's funny that it dates itself. Any comments on Jerry and his trying to have a perfect Christmas?
Until you brought it up, I really didn't notice the Griswold similarities, but you're 100% right. I was just looking at it as typical Jerry neuroses more than anything. Like he's a bit of a control freak in most aspects of his life. And the really stupid thing is he has no control over what's going on in his household.
Yeah.
Never does, never has, never will. So in some respects, Clark has some control over what happens in his world and in his life, whereas Jerry has no control. But I could totally see Clark making a similar threat to that. If you don't give me your phone, then I'm joining Facebook. Like that is totally something that Clark Griswold would have said. And so yeah,
I knew you'd like that too, because I know you like that movie because you were on you were on the Christmas special we had here at Fandom Empire.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Actually, when Texas got snowed in by a blizzard last week, I actually pulled out some more Christmas movies and I introduced my girlfriend to Christmas Vacation.
Nice.
And that was fun to watch.
It's super classic.
It's funny to watch it like by yourself, but it's even more fun when you're introducing it to somebody. And I feel like Rick and Morty has some similar aspects to that because some people may really, really laugh at it and other people may watch it and go, "What the fuck am I looking at?"
Oh, yeah, that's true. I got a couple questions in here. I noticed a few. Where were we? Oh, Justin McEwen's in here. He's a new Rick and Morty friend I just met. Good guy.
What's up, Justin?
Good guy. DMT wants to know, what would y'all say that y'all's least favorite Rick and Morty episode is? And I just said that's so hard for me. It's so hard for me. But I will tell you a couple that took a while for me to get into. One of them was Raising Gazorpazorp, where Morty impregnates the weird sex doll and has the weird child with the arms on his heads. That one took a while for me to get into, and it's really just that I noticed when I was doing random watches, I never picked that one. When I only had the first two seasons. And I know I didn't get the Story Train one so well when I first watched it. I kind of like, what the fuck, when like, what the fuck is this when it happened? So those are two examples, but I now watch them on all of my watch throughs. I love the fucking part where the lady, where Rick basically makes fun of their death trap. And then she says like, he's such a fucking asshole. But anyways, any Rick and Morty episodes that you found you didn't really like?
It's funny because it's kind of on a spectrum like that with me as well. There are some episodes that I really gravitate towards more than others. But I don't know if I can pick like just one in particular. You're right. Raising Gazorpazorp is really weird. My other problem is it's been a while since I've done my rewatch. Like I'm back in season 1 now, kind of going back through things all over again. So if you get back to me in like a week or two, I might be able to give you a better answer. But if I had to think of one right off the top of my head, it's kind of funny, but I am not a very big fan of the second interdimensional cable episode. the one where they're at the space hospital. I did not find Jerry's penis storyline to be very amusing, and the stories that they told on the other interdimensional channels just weren't as funny to me as first set of interdimensional cable. So they really, really hyped it up and they got really meta about it and be like, this was really popular, so we're doing it again, Morty. And then like they do it again and you just can't have lightning in a bottle twice. And so I was kind of disappointed by that one because I was really looking forward to it, and then I feel like it didn't deliver.
Yeah, no, I mean, I could see that. I love that one actually, and I love the Jerry's penis story too. So
that's fine. To each their own.
It's funny to say it is big. It's funny to say it is small.
That's the beauty of the show is like everybody's got one that really, really stands out to them more than others.
It's got so many different flavors. Yeah. All right. Let's go. The next point I wanted. So I like that they show Rick, and he's so excited about the Pirates of the Pancreas, and he wants, and of course, yeah, it's Pirates of the Caribbean, which is funny. Like it's definitely making fun of Disneyland. But I think this brings up a really important point, which is Rick is not just a scientist. He's also an artist. because he didn't go scientific with his thing. I guess they tried to nix the Pirates of the Pancreas because it made no sense. But he really enjoyed the artistry that he put up in there, and the pirates were really rapey apparently. And I think it brings up an important part. Not only did he like making this attraction, and he's sort of showed that he was as much of an artist as he is a scientist, but he also was really upset when people didn't like the Pirates of the Pancreas, or, he was really, I don't know, he's really attached to it. So I think it brought up an interesting point for his character, which is like something that didn't happen up until then. It just seemed like he was crazy sci-fi grandpa. And this is the first time we see him like have a little bit of you got to be human to be, have a short temper about something. So I don't know. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. The sensitivity towards the ride kind of gives you an inkling to the idea that maybe he could end up getting that sensitive about a person someday too. Like, as much as he's got the whole IDGAF attitude, he actually gave a fuck about Pirates of the Pancreas.
Yeah.
And so to have that as your introduction to Rick with feelings was really kind of amusing, but also totally within the scope of his character. Like, you would absolutely expect that to be something that he gets sensitive about.
Yeah.
And the way he continues to defend it to Morty, the way he continues to defend it to Dr. Bloom, like, he wants people to ride that ride. He wants people to enjoy that ride, and he will defend it until his last breath if he possibly can.
Yeah.
He was the way that he defended it made me low key want to go on it, because I've been on Pirates of the Caribbean out in Disneyland, and I kind of wanted to do a comparison contrast. Like, take us on that ride, damn it. Let's see what you got.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny too. Yeah. Like, Morty was going to die, and he's like, well, you might die inside of Reuben, but like, try to go see Pirates of the Pancreas. I think he's put a lot of work into it. My wife is in the chat, and she says, I thought it was funny when Beth got the book of replacement options in the story. She got the book of all the replacement penises Jerry could have, and she's like reading it, and then she just kind of stumbles. She's like, this is sick. You want to take my husband's penis? And then she's like, it's and then she like kind of gets distracted by some of the stuff she could add. I don't know what that says about me, but
right.
My wife doesn't want a book of replacements.
The storyline that stood out to her.
All right. Next, I would like to talk. So this is my favorite part of the whole episode. The whole thing with Jerry's dad was just like, oh my God. Exactly. So one of the reasons I love this, and it's basically the whole line where, they find out that Jacob is apparently his mother's lover, and his real dad likes to watch them, usually from a closet, but almost always dressed as Superman. And that
like what's with the Superman part? Like, why is that the thing?
That's the gag.
Like, does Superman spy on people having sex?
You think Superman would burst out of the closet and beat the shit out of the other guy? I don't know. Maybe. I have no idea. But the best part about this is, like, it's a really funny gag that I loved, and like, it was probably one of the best parts of the episode to me. But the thing I love the most about this is that this sets up Jerry's character so well. Like, his dad likes sitting in a closet watching his wife with another guy, and that's totally a Jerry thing. Like, he would like, I mean, I don't think Jerry would like that, but like, obviously, like, it kind of like fills in Jerry's character for being like a pathetic wimp that like can't stand up to anybody. I just think that
you kind of get the impression that like Jerry's simpism is genetic based on this.
Yeah.
Like,
that's like, I feel like this gag is way deeper than, I don't even know if it was meant to be in that way, but I feel like the gag is way deeper than at first glance.
Yeah, I think it was more meant to be, how can we possibly fuck up this story anymore? like there are certain aspects of Rick and Morty where I feel like all they're doing is looking at a certain typical storyline like Jurassic Park and be like, okay, how can we fuck it up and make it creepy?
Yeah.
Oh, let's put the amusement park inside of a human being. That would be pretty fucked up. Okay, how can we ruin somebody's Christmas? Oh, let's do this. And they just kept going and going and taking it further and further until you've got Jerry's dad hiding in the closet wearing a Superman shirt, watching all of this happen. And like when everybody started making out in the living room and he just kind of disappeared, it was like, oh, okay. And then he starts then at the end of the episode, Jerry starts giving his devices back to everybody. And the device that his dad pulls out of the stocking is a tape recorder.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? No.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It's a great gag. I thought that was like, it's so funny, and it's a great line. It's delivered by Dana Carvey, who we'll talk about quickly. Dana Carvey and John Oliver really take over this episode, so we'll try to get quickly into them. Moving along, though, we're gonna get to basically another funny thing that I liked was Morty likes this other girl and basically forgets about Jessica here, which I find is really weird because like mostly it shows him like obsessed with Jessica. But I think once again, this is how they nail a 14-year-old boy. Like he's like, I love Jessica. I want to stay with Jessica. But like some other girl pays him a little bit of attention and he's like, nope. Yeah, never mind. Forget about Jessica. Like,
yeah,
like it doesn't really matter.
He's hormones on two legs.
Yeah.
And like I think probably one of my favorite lines in the whole episode is involved with Morty and this girl where they're watching the theater production of the introduction to the park and like Ruben's animatronic body's falling apart, but you know, Bloom is eating the ice cream the way John Hammond does in Jurassic Park. And like you're seeing the parallels between it and Jurassic Park again, and then you go over to the side and these two teenagers are making out and Rick's trying to save the day and he's like, Morty, can you make it to the left nipple? And he's like, oh, gee, Rick, I'm going to try to get at both of them if I can.
Yeah. I actually put that in my Rick and Morty fan show group. I put that gag in there as a meme. I love that one too. Yeah.
That's like one of the best lines in the whole episode. Oh, gee, Rick, I'm going to try and get both of them if I can.
I find it funny that like, what happens to set that up is Jerry comes in and says, you're my sanest relative to Rick and starts kind of their dynamic, which they do have Rick and Jerry episodes, and then Rick says, oh yeah, relative size. And he's going to try to blow up Ruben. And then that's like how it comes to that. And I like that. Somehow Rick wasn't able to do anything before that. He got the tip off from Jerry. I feel like, was it because his mind was so busy about thinking about Pirates of the Pancreas that he couldn't do it? Because there's no way that he couldn't have thought of it. He's supposed to be as smart as 9 Doctor Who's. Like he's supposed to be like brilliant genius, and he couldn't figure this out. And then Jerry says relative, and he's like, oh yeah, I'll blow him up and they'll escape. Like no problem.
Well, I think he had been looking at everything on a microscopic level instead of a macroscopic.
Yeah.
Like he was trying to shrink Morty down and send him into the body rather than growing Ruben and making him larger than life size to the point that Morty would return to his normal size by enlarging him. Like that I think that's the relative size part coming in, is that he's like, oh, what can I do that's on a microscopic level that's going to save the day? And then Jerry kind of gives him the obvious answer that was sitting right in front of his face.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard for me to believe that Rick wouldn't come up with that on his own though. But I mean, who knows?
He
it's not
probably
explained.
Would have eventually, but by then it might have been too late.
This is true. This is true.
Jerry just kind of streamlined the process a little bit for the sake of the episode because they were running short on time, probably.
Yeah. Yeah. We're gonna skip this next one. I was gonna talk about Ethan's weird story. Summer's boyfriend is weird, sort of like, you know, went off a camping trip with his brother, but like, we'll skip that one for now.
Do we ever see him again, or was he just a one-off for this episode?
No, Ethan's in a couple episodes. Ethan's also the one. Do you know when Summer blows herself up she tries to make her boobs bigger and then makes her whole self bigger, and then they reverse her skin, and she's like a giant. What episode is that in? Because Rick is gone. That might be the Whirly Durly, because he's gone with Jerry at that point.
You're the host of a Rick and Morty
Producer
show, and you can't even remember what episode.
Well, I remember that Ethan was in that part. Ethan made Summer upset because he took off with another girl, and Summer thought it was because her boobs weren't big enough. And Morty comes and like freaks out on him too. He has the funny little campfire scene where he's like, "You made my sister cry," and he's got the morphizer pointed at him, and then. I'm pretty sure it shows him at the end of the episode all deformed and crazy because Morty fucked up his body.
Gotcha.
Season 3?
That's what the chat says. Somebody chatted and said 3rd season.
3rd season. I love the gag where the little guys go and they're like they run out of the machine. Anyways, so they're escaping Ruben. They're escaping Ruben. The other part I laughed a lot at was the giant Ruben in the sky, and then they show his giant feet in California, and then they said, God knows what's happening in the Rockies, and then you just see a guy working on trees on lumber, and all of a sudden you see just a big giant penis shadow kind of in the background. But to put that on TV, they definitely had to make it like it's not like definitely out there. You just kind of see it, it's a really funny gag. I don't know how the shadow went upwards. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but it was it's pretty funny. I love that. And
hey, you don't know what kind of curvature he's got down there.
Yeah, I don't know. The guy was in Korea and Pearl Harbor, so
right.
He could have been mangled up pretty good.
But I mean, it was kind of funny seeing the lumberjack, chopping down the trees. Yeah. And then there's this other piece of wood in the middle of the wood as well.
Yeah. It's just like, oh my God. Yeah, it's good. It's a good gag. That's my kind of review of funny gags that I like from this episode. My favorite, like I said, would have to be the whole Dana Carvey thing. But that gets into my next point. Which guest actor do you think is the bigger I don't know. Who was it more important, or who was more surprising to see on the show, Dana Carvey or John Oliver, do you think?
Well, it's really tough because I don't think I recognized Carvey's voice quite as instantly as I did Oliver's. Like, John Oliver's is super recognizable. Yeah. But Dana Carvey is just a well-known actor in general. And so to have both of those names is pretty incredible. I would say on initial impression, you probably notice Oliver's voice first, but the more you watch it, like the more you repeat this episode, the more Carvey's role kind of stands out. Yeah. So yeah. I think it depends on what number of rewatch you're on. If you're watching for the first time, you probably notice Oliver. If you're watching it second, third, fourth time, you're probably noticing Carvey more and more. Yeah, no, that's true. I do like I said, I like the Jerry's dad bits. They're my favorite parts of them. So I love that Dana Carvey's in this, but John Oliver really drives the whole episode. He talks about every part they're going to. He has the bone train line that everyone loves. He has he asks everyone about everything. He obviously is the John Hammond of the episode, and Poncho is the Dennis Nedry of the episode. They really fit into kind of the same thing where they found out that someone sabotaged it, and it wasn't, he got to play Newman's character there and have the bubonic plague, which apparently was only because he was a disgruntled employee, because that's all that Newman was. Yeah, that's true. I guess you're right. Because Hammond was fucking bothering him all the time. Well, he was bothering him and he was underpaying him. Because at the time, technology wasn't something that was really as appreciated as it is right now. So this guy is like, do you realize what kind of work it takes to operate this type of machinery? Or do you even care? Because now IT people get paid bukus of cash at companies. but Dennis was like super underpaid, and I think at one point he even said, "I'm completely unappreciated in my time." So
yeah.
I feel like that's kind of where Poncho was, but he was also like the muscle of the group because he had all the weapons and stuff.
What the hell,
And
Johnny?
hello, random body.
It's
standing
fucking
in front
Johnny.
of-
Yeah, I know. He passed by. He fucking ruined my show again, piece of shit. Get out of here, you
Wow.
piece of shit. You ruined the season
Wow.
premiere. Season premiere.
Wow.
No, we're just trying to get ready for our next show because this show started a little late. So we're gonna wrap up the show pretty quickly. I do want to get to the winner of the create an attraction. Did we see any attractions in the comments? Did anyone give us any other options to go with?
Not that I saw, but the chat was pretty lively a little while ago, and the comments were moving pretty fast.
I saw that. I know Melissa Todd wants to know about, how Michael survived. I'm sure we'll get into that later tonight. We always get into something like that. We'll ask that later. Who else is in the house? Anyone else? I don't see any other attractions. So this is actually going to be a head-to-head face-off. I got two different options. So the first one was named the Cardiac Arrest House of Horrors, and that was sent in by Greg Nickel, who's actually now an admin on my page because he was super active. So I just said, well, might as well be in the bed.
You got admins?
Yeah.
When did this happen? This is a big move, man.
Yeah, I just
Is it-
invited people who I like to do it.
Oh. Well, I think that speaks volumes then. Oh, and Johnny is breaking shit. Sorry, I'm
All
leaving.
right, I'm
now.
in trouble now. And the second one was the Sphincter Spiral, which was sent in by Jason Baird.
I like the name Sphincter Spiral. I'd go on that if I was at Anatomy Park.
Sphincter Spiral. Yeah, actually, we were discussing that. It would be like one of those water slides where you like go around the middle and then eventually just drops you out the bottom.
Everybody like that I know that tries to go on something like that would probably just make a whole bunch of jokes and call it a shitty ride.
Yeah. I'd go on it. I fucking love that ride, except like sometimes it would like fuck up your back when you went that down. But
Yeah.
whatever, when you're a kid, it doesn't matter. If I went on now, I'd probably die.
Okay, kids, time to clench.
All right, so let's. We're gonna go with Sphincter Spiral. Is that what we're gonna do?
Ooh.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go. You know what? You're the guest host. You're the guest. I'm gonna let you decide it.
Oh,
We're going to
dear.
go with Sphincter Spiral, which means Jason Baird is going to get his name thrown in a hat for some Rick and Morty swag. So we're going to do that. What else do we got? We got any more time? Let's see if we got anything else in the chat to talk about. We only got a couple minutes left. Got about 5 minutes left.
Producer Sean has a question.
Oh, Intel Wild's here. What's your question?
So I've only seen like 1 or 2 episodes of Rick and Morty ever. And I might not have been in the right state of mind when I watched them, so I don't remember much. How would you suggest watching Rick and Morty? Is it better to just watch like an episode a night, or should you binge it?
I don't ever recommend binging a bunch of episodes at once of almost anything that you haven't watched. Because it's just not the way that things were meant to be viewed. I feel like, and it's very episodic. There's not things that carry over. You don't need to remember. There's never a last time on Rick and Morty, unless it's a gag. I don't think there's ever a last time on Rick and Morty. There's no 2-part episodes. So like wasn't meant to be viewed that way. And I think that it's best viewed like, I always watch it at night, like right before I go to bed. It's not super hard to follow. People say that Rick and Morty is for smart people, and you have to be super smart to get Rick and Morty. It's not really true. You could I consider myself to be average intelligence, and I think it's fucking awesome, and I get most of the jokes. So every once in a while, I'm like, what the fuck? I better like check on Reddit for this. But I would say watch 1 episode a night. You can watch them consecutive nights, though. I don't know, Zach, you got an opinion on that?
Yeah, probably every probably like 2 or 3 episodes a night for me is like my cap. after that, I kind of need to switch gears and try something else. The genre of it is very niche and very unique, and so you kind of have to digest it a little bit at a time. So whatever you feel like it takes for you to digest something decently, that's probably the limit that I would put on it. I would probably do 1 to 2 episodes a night. Yeah. Just to say that you watched it, and then whatever else you watched that evening, you know, they're only like a half hour. So you only spent 1 hour watching it, and then you can go watch other stuff too. So.
Oh my God, producer Sean getting in the way too. What the fuck? My show is just an afterthought.
That's his way of cutting you off, man.
Yeah, I know. He's just literally just gonna throw me out the door soon. I got Jade's in the chats. He said, "Don't kink shame, Kieron." I never kink shame. I don't know if anybody who watches any of these shows. I think I'm the one who does the least of that. I've said all sorts of fucking crazy shit, so I don't think that's me. You know, whatever. If you want to watch cuckold porn, that's fine for me. What, Johnny? You weren't here earlier for that. We're talking about Anatomy Park.
I got that.
Okay, so that's where it comes from.
Doesn't make it not funny.
It's still funny. You're right. I'll be back is in here too. He was actually just asking about the same thing, how to watch it. Only watched a couple random episodes. You can just watch it randomly, but then you got to keep track of what you watched and what you haven't watched. Currently, there's 41 episodes, so you know, it's not super hard to keep track of, but I would recommend watching it in its natural progression. And the show kicks off really quickly. It doesn't. A lot of people consider seasons 1 and 2 to be a little bit more superior. So that's not me. Actually, season 3 is my favorite season. So I don't think the quality ever drops off or ever starts off slowly. Like The Simpsons notoriously starts off a little slowly and then heats up and then cools down for most people. I would say, you know, as long as you're keeping track, you can watch it whenever you want. But I would start at episode 1. DMT wants to know my top 3 Rick and Morty characters and why. Characters are so hard to rate in Rick and Morty because they're almost all one-offs. And if not, they're only in the background of another episode. They're like, other than Bird Person and Squanch and Gazorpazorp? Mr. Poopy Butthole is in a few. Yeah, he's great. He's a great character too. You know, oddly enough, Revolio Clockberg Jr. is in more episodes than most people, and I think pretty much everyone hates him. Man. You got a favorite character while I mull this over?
Are you talking just the side characters, or
I would say just side characters, because like most people will say Rick or Morty, you know.
Yeah. I would probably go at number 3, Mr. Poopy Butthole. Number 2, Unity, and number 1 would be Bird Person. Nice,
yeah. You know who would be in there for me? Definitely would be the Fart Cloud. Pretty much is just named Fart. I love that. And I love that actor. I can't wait to get there. And, you know, I always research everybody's stuff. I watched and posted some John Oliver show, and he's fucking hilarious. He's so good, and he's so energetic. And Dana Carvey, I have his Saturday Night Live DVD. Like, he's a fucking genius, too. And the reason you don't recognize his voice in this is because he's a master of, like, impressions and, like, just... Yeah, he's just fantastic. So he's a master of disguise, Johnny points out. I would not recommend watching Master of Disguise.
It's awful and awesome.
Okay, Johnny recommends you watch Master of Disguise right now. Get in there. Watch Master of Disguise. I think that's going to do it until Sean runs over and shuts us off. So I think we're pretty much at our end. Zach, do you want to plug anything coming up, or would you like to maybe let us know where we can reach you?
Sure. Stay right here on Fandom Empire for a new episode of Fandom News Now coming up on Thursday night. And the Intergalactic Peace Coalition is going to be doing a season review of WandaVision on Friday. So
nice.
Be sure to check out IPC Podcast on Facebook, and you'll see the live link from there. And you can hit me up on Twitter, I guess, at Zach the Voice. That's where I'm the most active, ZACH the Voice.
Zach the Voice.
Dude, thanks for having me. This was a fun time.
Yeah, no, it's great. I love your show too. Fandom News Now is awesome. I love how you got it running like a news show. It's almost like a, well, I guess you wouldn't have CP24 up there. I don't know what kind of news you have that delivers really quick hits, but like it quickly runs up. It quickly like delivers like some great points about all sorts of fandom news. And I think you do like an awesome job. I definitely, I'm going to tune in on Thursdays, and I think you're doing a fantastic job over there. So I would highly promote Fandom News Now on Thursdays and the same channel.
Yes, sir. And
yeah, I'm going to read the super chat. Jesus Christ. Okay, I'll read it. All right, Matthew Whitfield says, late to the show, but you gentlemen are doing a fine job. Yeah. Yep. He didn't even poke fun at my Buccaneers, the Super Bowl champions. So that was, that's really nice of him. When you pay money, you should fit in everything you want to say. And I know he wanted to say like "fuck the Bucs" there. That's. Huh? Do you like the Bucs, Zach? What's your professional football team?
Nah. I grew up a Packers fan, actually.
In Texas?
Yeah, I had some neighbors that were from Wisconsin, and they got me hooked on the Packers before anybody could get me hooked on the Cowboys.
I didn't do that. Yeah, well, I don't know. Packers is much nicer than being a Cowboys fan, I would say.
They're more consistent and do better in the playoffs. Anyways.
Yeah, I mean, you have some success with the Packers, and you have a more recent Super Bowl. With the Cowboys, MVP, you just have...
Buddy. That's all I got to say.
Sorry?
Reigning MVP.
Yeah, that's true. He was fucking awesome to watch. And he's awesome because he looks pissed all the time. Matt Whitfield did send "fuck the Bucs" in. I'll read that out loud. Fuck the Bucs, because they're the fucking Super Bowl champions. That's gonna do it for us today. You can go back and watch any of our older episodes. Just type in Rick and Morty Fan Show. Our first 3 episodes will pop up and almost nothing else. Let's hear that. Can we hear that theme music again? We're gonna outro with that. Can we do that?
Shit, it's a good show. It's a great show.
See you later, guys.
It's a shit show.